Hello and welcome to the show. Listen, thank you so much for joining us today. I tell you what, we've got a great show planned for you. It's about the power of a father. This month we're celebrating fathers, and we have none other than some powerful men. When I say powerful, and women, their families on the show. So you're going to meet C. David Moody of C.D. Moody Construction Company, and you're going to meet David Mack III, former South Carolina representative. So I just want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy because we're coming up next.
The Cecil Williams South Carolina Civil Rights Museum is the Palmetto State's first and only museum. It honors a generation of people, black and white, throughout the state of South Carolina who deserve to be remembered for their unselfish commitments and sacrifices. Enjoy an immersive and entertaining virtual tour. For more information, visit www.cecilwilliams.com.
All right, as I said, we've got a great show planned for you, talking about the power of a father. And listen, I have the best fathers on today and the rest of the month. So you just got to sit back and enjoy these gentlemen because they're going to have a lot to share with you. They're very motivated. And I tell you what, I'm just excited about having them. That's all. Okay, so first, you're going to meet this man who's a father. He's a husband. He's the CEO of C.D. Moody Construction. He's an author, a philanthropist, and a man who loves to help motivate people to be their best. When I tell you he is a powerful man and a gracious man and has a beautiful wife, you're going to meet her as well. So come on out here, Mr. David Moody of C.D. Moody Construction. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Miss Carla. It is so great having you all on the show. And I tell you what, now I've got to tell everybody about Miss Carla. She's a retired nurse. She did hospice. And I tell you what, beautiful woman. Spoke with her for the month of March. And then we're going to bring her daughter, Miss Caria. Come on, Caria, join us.
Hi,
Hey, how are you, beautiful?
I am doing wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Listen, I want to thank the Moody family for being with me today on the show. When I thought about who would be the men that would exemplify what it means to be a father, I thought about you, David, and then of course we're going to meet another David later on. But I tell you what, first I just want to ask you, and this is for you, David. What do you think? What do you think of when you hear the power of a father? The power of a father's love. What does that mean to you?
Well, one of the things I always like to say it a couple of ways. One, you really don't know the power of love until you have your first child. And whether you have your first child with your blood child or you adopt a child or you marry into a family, there is something about that responsibility for nurturing, loving, being there for them, and hopefully teaching them to be incredible in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like to make it clear for fathers, it doesn't matter if you're the blood father or the father who has stepped into that role, you still play a very, very important part in that child's life.
That's right. And so, in your book, I learned a lot about you through your book, Fighting Through the Fear. And when you talk about your father and your grandfather, you learned a lot of lessons from them. And what do you think was the biggest lesson you learned from your father to help you raise your children?
Couple of them. One, my grandfather was the power of love, never giving up. He came to America at 17 from British Honduras, which is now Belize.
Mm-hmm.
And he worked his way over at 17 on a banana boat so he could go to school. And he met my grandmother and raised 8 children in a shotgun house in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And his was courage. My father taught me about love and the family being first. But my dad also really taught me about my spiritual connection and having faith and putting that first and also how to, save something every pay period and always to live beneath your means. So my dad and my grandfather taught me some important lessons about life and being a father and being a good husband.
Yeah, yeah. And so that's why I want to switch to Miss Carla. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm doing well, Miss Carla. Listen, I want to ask you, how would you describe David, your husband? As a father, yes. As a leader. Mm-hmm.
Shows his children love. And he's always there for the family. He always put us first, and we just love him to death.
All right.
But they don't listen to me.
Oh, hey, David, I always say you should have that second career because you have such a great sense of humor. You can get on stage anytime, right, Miss Carla? He could get on stage.
Yes, absolutely.
And people will love it. So, Karia, while I have you with us, how would you describe your father?
I would say that he's an overall amazing dad. He's not only a father figure as far as like protection, providing, giving advice and things of that nature, but he's fun. He is definitely a friend as well.
Mm-hmm.
There is that fine line. Like I said, it depends on the occasion. I've worked there before, so working with him and having him as a boss and leader and also a father was an interesting time.
Yeah.
But no, he's definitely a fun guy. I can go to him about any and everything. I definitely do love that. We have a great relationship as far as transparency, being able to come to him about something and not feeling like I'm going to be judged. And also one of the biggest things I think is that he's extremely supportive of you doing what you want to do. There was never any pressure to come into the family business or anything like that. He's very into following your own path, following your dream, and just kind of supportive with any and everything that you do. So again, it's like having a great friend, but then also having that leader, that provider, that protector, that word of advice, that person that's going to give you the tough love sometimes, the hard truth. But like I said, overall, great father.
Wow, that's a tribute there. Now you gonna make me cry. You sound like my dad. I see you wiping that tear out your eye.
Yeah, but look here, Tammy, here's something important. If you notice, she wasn't live. She put a picture up so nobody can really make sure it's her. And I'm her daddy.
Well, we already know she doesn't have as she said, she is packing, and so I do understand that. But listen, she said some beautiful things about you, and so I want to go back to what you said earlier, David. You talk about when it's nothing like a father or even a mother's love, and Carl, I guess you can attest to this as well, of having a child. When you first found out that Miss Carla was pregnant, what was your reaction?
I was overjoyed. Carl and I have been, let's see, we got married in 81, so we have been married 3 years, and we have been trying for about a year and a half. So we were even wondering would we get pregnant, and when she did get pregnant, we were extremely happy. I had no idea the responsibility that comes with being a father. Mm-hmm. So those are the kind of things that really woke me up. That I was in the delivery room for both children. I cut the cord, and it was just being in there and just seeing that whole process. It just blew my mind. I mean, it's incredible to see that whole process. So when she first told me she was pregnant, it was definitely happy. You gotta remember that was before cell phones and stuff. So we had to call long distance. You didn't talk long because it cost too much.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Back in the 80s, that's right.
Yep.
Wow.
And my son was the first grandchild on my side of the family from my parents, so that made it extra special too.
Mm-hmm. So needless to say, I'm not going to say they were spoiled, but grandparents do spoil their children, right, Kari? Yeah, okay, Miss Carla, you're
Yes.
saying it, right?
And so do fathers.
Yeah, especially the relationship between a father and a daughter.
Oh yes.
And
Go
you
ahead,
know,
Kari.
and Carla and you and Charles.
Well,
So yeah,
I gotta tell you a story about mamas and daughters real quick since we doing this. So Kari had just got her driver's license. So you got, in Georgia, the first 6 months, you can only drive with your family. So she was going to meet her boyfriend at the movies for a 7 o'clock movie. And so about 9 o'clock, she should be calling and saying the movie was over. She was on her way home.
yes.
So about 10 minutes to 9, maybe 9, I called. I was coming from a Christmas party. And Carly, I said, have you heard from Kari yet? She said, no, not yet. Why don't you ride up to the mall real quick and see if you see her in the car, make sure she's okay. So I said, all right, I will do that. So as a dad, we can find our car real quick. So I found the car and I kind of parked and I saw her and her boyfriend and the group coming out of the movie. So I knew to go park far away into the back. So once she couldn't see me and I couldn't see them.
Right.
So I called her and said, hey, I see her. Everything looks fine. I'm going to drive home and, and when she gets going, then I'm going to come on home. So about 3 to 5 minutes later, I get a phone call and it's Kari. And she goes, where are you? And I go, So I start stuttering. I'm like, how did she see me? So I said, I had to run to the mall. She goes, I'll talk to you when we get home. So I hang up and now I'm scared. I'm like, how did she see me? So I'm driving home. Kari is coming behind me and I'm walking in the house. And Kari comes behind me and Carla goes, Kari, I can't believe your dad did that. Now, I'm smart enough to know something's going on because she sent me. So Kari is scared, she fusses at me and storms upstairs, said I embarrassed her. And then I looked at Carla and I said, Carla, what just happened? She said, when you called me and told me she was okay, I called her and said, don't kiss that boy, your daddy's in the parking lot.
Oh, and Kari, how did you feel about that?
I wasn't too happy. I definitely was not happy. He followed me up there on my date. I don't necessarily know the truth behind that story. My mother says she didn't send him. He maintains over all this time that she did. So the jury's still out on that one.
Wow, what a great story and what a great relationship you all have. I want to show these pictures of the family because David, you sent some beautiful pictures of your family. So Tiana, let's roll those pictures. Now this is Charles's graduation.
Yeah, from Morehouse.
So he's a Morehouse man.
And just for the record, I was the one who dyed Miss Carla's hair. I was her beautician.
Oh, go ahead. Wow, Tiana, and so this is Kari, your graduation from Spelman.
Correct.
Wow, look at proud. Oh, now I love this picture.
Yeah, that's our first contract at Underground Atlanta. We just started the business.
Wow, I love that picture. David, you got so many likes, so many comments on this one picture on your Instagram account as well as your LinkedIn. It's a beautiful picture. And look at that, before and after.
Yeah, and that's at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium project we were doing.
Wow. And so was the whole family involved with that project, David?
Yeah, they're both. Well, they didn't work on that project, but they're working at the company.
Oh, wow. Okay, Tiana, we've got Christmas pictures as well. Look at that. All the Santas.
Oh, that is an annual picture. We have to put our hat on every year.
Wow. Oh.
See, been doing it since then.
Yeah. So, Kari, how old were you then?
I have no idea.
Do y'all remember?
About 4 or 5.
Oh, I was obviously older than 4 or 5 in that picture.
Let me see the picture.
I don't know.
Yeah, that obviously was not 4 or 5.
No, you look like you're about 6, 7.
I'm about to say, men don't do well. I'm learning that. They're not great at
Yeah.
That's good.
So Miss
Taking out an
Carla,
element.
they were about 6 or 7, 7 to 8,
Correct.
something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Beautiful family pictures. So I want to ask
Thank
you a question, David, and this is what I ask all the mothers and the fathers. What is the one lesson that you want your children to take away from you?
I think the one lesson I want them to take away from me is that you never give up on what's important to you, um, and that life is precious and enjoy it. But I think the main thing I want them to take away is just the power of love, but healthy love.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be in a bad environment or a bad situation that somebody calls love. I think the main thing I've tried to do with Carla is show our children what healthy, good love looks like, and set a good example so they know what to expect and what they should give and what they deserve back.
That's wonderful. I mean, because when I see the relationship that you all have, especially when you post on your LinkedIn page, on your Instagram page, on your Facebook page, I see that love. Like I saw y'all in the boat, driving the boat, and Miss Carla, you were the ones, the captain. I said,
Yeah.
go ahead, Miss Carla.
Now
That
she
and
drives.
yeah, and that's fabulous to see that. So Carla did, and I hope I'm not saying it the wrong way, but when you married David, did he turn out the way you expected?
Well, as he tells everybody, he reached his max maturity
Years ago.
years ago. So
Yeah, and you all are
he has
celebrating
kept
a
me laughing ever since.
and that's the beauty. That's what I'm
Yes.
saying. The relationship that you all have and that we see through the pictures, the many pictures that you've taken on your trips and all of that. I mean, you can see that love. Even Karia, like I was talking with you earlier about you singing. I mean, there's that love that's there in your family, and it exudes out in the world. You see it. And so I just want to say, man, I just admire you so, both of you, so much for all that you have done and that you continue to do. So, David, the question becomes, do you feel that you have reached your goals as a father and a husband? Or are you still working on it?
No, I don't think you ever truly reach your goals because you're always trying to help them go to another level. And if you're fortunate enough to have grandchildren, then that's a whole new level of fatherhood that comes in, which is just being a good father, but also trying to be a great grandfather to your grandkids, but just really being great at it. So I think it's kind of like in the movie Black Panther when he went back and saw his father. And I can't remember the exact words, but basically it was set up. His job was to make sure that they would be prepared when he was gone. So I think that's real important to me, knowing I've prepared my children to carry on when I'm gone and they don't miss a beat.
Wow. Wow, that says a lot. And the same, Miss Carla, I know as a mother, that's the same thing that you probably want your son and daughter to be able to carry on as well. Because you have such a loving spirit, and being a nurse, that's a whole ball game all in itself. You got to have that compassion. You have to be prepared with people and know how to talk to people and nurture people. So David, I want to ask you, what would you want to tell young fathers now who may feel that they are at the end of their rope, that they want to give up? Because we know some young dads have these children and they say, you know what, I'm not going to deal with it. What do you want to say to them?
Well, a couple of things. First of all fathers go through that point where they go, man, what have I gotten into? Can I be all that I need to be for them? When Carl and I didn't know how we were going to pay house note and things were really tight, you're wondering, man, what have I done? You know, am I going to be a failure? So all fathers go through that. But I think the important part of this story for me, I'm glad you asked that question. Yesterday was my mother's birthday, heavenly birthday. She died in 2019. And my mother died with the weight of never knowing who her dad was. She always felt that he didn't want her. She always felt rejected, regardless of how much love my mother got from us and my father and other people. That always bothered her. So my thing would be to any father, regardless of what you're going through, do your best to always be in your child's life, because when you're not, it definitely scars that child to thinking they were rejected. And many children become adults and they haven't gotten over that. And my mother was living proof of that. And she died in the 80s. And that was always something that bothered her. Like, why didn't he want her?
Yeah. And I can attest to some of that because, I always told you I'm adopted from birth. Don't know my birth parents, but I had a loving dad. And so, like you, Karia, my dad was really like my father and my friend. And of course my mother as well, but it was that father-daughter love. And so, as speaking as far as Miss Carla, with you and your children, what is the big lesson that you want them to learn from you?
For me is, I would say, compassion. Would hope that they would learn patience over time, which I didn't have when I was younger, and I work at having patience. And then, like you were saying before, that was always my biggest goal and my biggest fear was not having my children prepared that if I was gone, that they couldn't take care of themselves.
And she's taught my daughter how to be bossy. That's for sure.
Karia,
they treat me bad.
What? Don't say that. Don't say it. Don't say it. Karia, are you bossy?
I am definitely not bossy. I am a boss. There are two different things.
All right.
She and her father are two peas in a pod.
Wow. And so what, I guess the next question becomes, as I said, what is, as you're looking, because David, you just turned 65, and Miss, right? Is it 65?
Yeah.
Yep. And Miss Carly, your birthday's coming up as well, right?
I'll be 65 on the 24th.
You'll be 60. Wow.
I would have got my ear pierced.
You did. You said you were going to do that. So did y'all do the tattoo?
I'm going to get it on the forearm.
And Miss Carla, are you going to do that as well?
Well, my ears are already pierced, and we both got tattoos when we turned 50. So I am going to get another one.
Yeah, all right. See, that's what I'm talking about. Fun loving.
I would like to point out when I got my forearm tattoo, my dad did not talk to me for a week. So the fact that he is about to, and it's so funny because when he posted and said he was doing it, a really good girlfriend of mine was with me from college. I was out of college, but my friend from college was with me. And my parents came over to drop something off, and we met him in my parking garage. And he saw my tattoo. I tried to hide it, even though I was grown. I tried to hide it, and he saw my tattoo and did not talk to me for a good week. So when he said he was getting a forearm tattoo, she definitely texted me and was like, "Do you remember how he acted about
Hey,
that?"
you live and learn. 65. But we're going to be 65. We can get one at that age.
I'm about to be 35. So I am definitely grown, sir.
Wow. Listen, Karia, I listen, I have to say, even with my daughter, when she had that tattoo of the butterfly, and I said right here, and I was like, why did you put that on? What were you thinking about? Now, when people look at you for a job, what are you going to do? I mean, oh man. So Karia, listen, I understand. Hey, Dad, I understand.
So after that blow up, I went and got like 5 more.
You what?
Yeah, I have tattoos.
Wow. So you love the tats, as they
I
say.
am the art child.
She's the artistic one of the family.
Gotcha.
I'm
Well,
an extrovert. I'm really into my creative side. I draw. I do all of that. So yeah, that's
wow. Now, does Charles have any tattoos?
he has
Yes.
Yeah.
So David, how did you react with
because
Charles?
turned 15, my brother turned 18, and they all went together as a family, but I was too young to get one. So it's their fault.
Oh man, this is great. You can't make this stuff up, right? David and Carla, you can't make this stuff up.
No,
This
we
this,
can't.
this is great. That's why I wanted it to be, to show this love that you all have. And I said, like I say, I can't thank you enough. So the last thing that I want to ask both of you and all three of you, and you can take your time to do it. What would you say you would want people to, the viewers that are listening, to take away from this interview?
Well, for me, I would want them to take away from, a lot of times people see the success we have, but I want people to understand we used to, we didn't know how we were going to pay the house note. We were financial tights and straights. It was not an easy journey, but it was just love, teamwork, and as long as I knew I had my family and our health, that we could get through anything. So I think I would want people to leave with the power of love and the power of a family.
Power of love in a family. Miss Carla?
And I should say, I would say that plus the fact that just because a family looks and they're having a good time and they all get along well, doesn't mean that there won't be bumps along the way. But you have to stick it out, and you have to make a decision that you're not going to walk away from it, that you're always going to that you're going to get through all of your troubles together, and that you'll always be together to celebrate your highs and your lows. And that it does take work. It's been 38 years.
Yep.
38 years.
And but we have, and we've had, 90% of it has been up. But there was times when he was starting the business and the kids were little, that we were, we were together and everything. But sometimes our focus was like, my focus was more on the children, and his focus was more on getting the business started. And so we had to make sure that we made time for each other.
And you were going back to nursing school.
And I had gone back to nursing school.
Yeah.
So, that in itself was a trial, but together we pulled it off.
Right. And I didn't ask the question about juggling the work-life balance. I mean, for both of you, and the stories that you that we've talked about in the past, and that you're talking about now, about how you worked and how you had to save, scrimp, pay for this, try to pay for this, but that work-life balance, and you have 2 kids.
It was tough. It was very tough. I mean, there are times I look back and go, man, there definitely is a God, and there's definitely teamwork is just critical, because it was just tough. I mean, so I sympathize with young couples who are going through those tough times, because we all go through them. But if you can make it through there, it definitely gets better with age. But one of the things I wanted to add that we did too that was important, on holidays, Christmas and Thanksgiving, we tell both our kids, since they finished high school, they can do whatever they want on Christmas and Thanksgiving. They don't have to spend it with us, because that was a stress that Carl and I had when we lived in Ann Arbor when we first got married, because our parents lived 2 miles apart from us. And it was always like tracking whose house you went to, how much time. And I never, ever wanted to put that on them.
So Miss Caria, what about you? What do you want folks to take away from this about your dad, about being a father, and your mother?
I would just say that family is extremely, extremely important. And having that healthy relationship and that support goes a long way. And that even if, unfortunately, you were not in a position where you were able to receive that type of love or that type of comfort, that's not something that has to translate when you have your family. And that at any time you can break any type of generational curse, and you can kind of have the family unit that you always wish you had. So I guess my big thing would be, regardless of what type of family you did come from, you always have the opportunity to create the family unit that you desire. So family is extremely important, and always be the best version of yourself and show up. Always show up for your family, and always make them feel loved unconditionally.
Girl, you gonna make me cry.
I was like, that's my girl.
Yes, yes. I'm telling you, so many nuggets that you all have shared with us tonight, and I tell you, I can't thank you enough for being on the show. And the last thing I'm going to ask you, because you might have changed your 3 words. What are the 3 words that describe David, Carla, and Karia?
Oh, loud.
Okay.
Supportive.
Mm-hmm.
And funny. Those are the first 3 things that come to mind.
All right. Like your dad. You said it, Miss Carla. Okay, Miss Carla.
I would think that I am compassionate, loving, and fun.
Wow. Look at
I
that.
was waiting for her to say romantic.
Well, you've been waiting a long time.
Yeah.
He's the man. I was waiting to hear something to pump me up a little bit. I sound like a puppy.
David, you a man. So tell me, David, what are your 3 words?
Let's see. Loving, romantic, and fun.
All right. All of you have the word fun. So that tells us a whole lot about the Moody family. That you're a fun-loving family, and you're very supportive, and you're and I'm telling you, you all are motivating me and everyone else that's out there watching the show. I tell you, I couldn't ask for a better first segment of the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
And thank you all so much, and we'll be talking. Thank you so much. And Karia, good luck on your move, and thank you, your renovation.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am, and thank you for taking the time out to be on the show. I love you all. Thank you again. Have a blessed evening.
You too.
Okay, bye. All right, listen, you heard it right here. What a wonderful family. And I'm telling you, we're going to have another exciting family on the show. So just sit back, relax. We're going to be right back.
Charleston and surrounding areas, get ready for the Root of Soul J19 Fest, happening June 18th through the 19th at Ladson Exchange Park, home of the Coastal Carolina Fair. And it all kicks off Friday night with the opening ceremony with Demetrius Dr. Trio featuring the Wives and the Bold Dance Company of Charleston, plus an outdoor party with DJ Kid Capri and DJ SNS. That's Friday night. This Saturday, it's workshops and panels on the culture, plus the Big Poetry Slam, hosted by Courtney Nicole, with music by DJ B. Lord, plus the Gospel Explosion with Pastor H.E. Dixon, Terrell Smalls and Company, Kelante Gavin, and Jonathan McReynolds. And then it's the main concert featuring Kiki Wyatt live, along with the Grammy Award winning Ranky Tanky. There'll be food trucks, vendors, health and information fair, the HBCU Virtual College Fair, Kids Zone, Pain Sip, Spades, Dominoes, and more. Get more details and your tickets now at rootofsoul.com. Kids 17 and under are admitted free. It's all hosted by the Grace Impact Development Center, sponsored by Mr. Seafood, Fox Audio Visual, Explore Charleston, Low Country Acceleration Academy, Star 99.7, 99.3 The Box, and Heaven 1390. Bring your own chairs. Tents will be available on site. And yes, there will be multiple cash bars. No coolers, please.
Wow. When I tell you what an exciting time that's going to be, Root of Soul J19, happening on June the 19th. Looking forward to it. All right, so we've had an exciting first segment. So this segment, this is family. He's the former representative, House of Representative of South Carolina. He's a father, a husband. He's a director of Cobra. I mean, he's a loving person. He gives of his heart, and he is my big brother. So I want to introduce you and bring you on out, and I've got the family here. So come on out, big brother David Mack III.
Hi, how you doing? It's great to be here.
I'm doing great. It's good. So good to see you. You know, we haven't seen each other all year. And so Daniel Mack is on the show. And of course, David Mack IV. I mean, well, listen, I've had the show full of D's today. David Daniel. Okay. So we have had a great first segment. And as I said, you're my big brother, David. And so it is just great to have you with us. I'm telling you. So let's get started. Tell us what it means to you, David, when you hear the power of a father and the power of a father's love.
Absolutely. It's great to be on, Tammy. It's great to be on with you. My former co-host of my radio show. We've worked on many projects together. Let me also say that I have another son, Brandon, who's overseas, and he is an international tax quality assurance director. Has a law degree, doing extremely well. He's over in the UK, and just wanted to say a shout out to him. So I have 3 sons, and I'm very, very honored, very, very proud of that. And there's nothing like being a father. I mean, I love family to begin with. You know, I have a loving wife, and I'm blessed to still have my dad. He's 92 years old. I was blessed to have my mom up until she turned age 90. So I just been very, very blessed. But being a father is just, you know, when I saw my firstborn, I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. It's an unbelievable high. And you know, and then to have other sons, it's just great. And to be at the point where my youngest son Daniel is my co-host on my radio show now. You know, it's just a tremendous feeling, And I would say to all the dads out there, embrace the concept, the idea, the reality of being a dad. Some things you can't put a price tag on. Being a dad is one of them.
That's right. You got it. And you know, David, it is so great that you all can be on the show, and Brandon, send him my love and all. I mean, and Daniel, you're a dad, okay? So you're the youngest. So when you hear that, what do you think about when you hear about the power of a father and father's love?
The power of fatherhood, the first thing that just really comes to mind is just being there, being present. Just making sure that you're showing your love. There's really no manual to it, but if you're there, you will figure it out. If you're coming with some type of notion that, well, fatherhood is supposed to be this, or the dad have to be that, then it tries to be forced and making it harder when it needs to be. If you're there, everything that needs to be done, I feel, will come out. You just have to love come out. You don't have to be taught to be protective, because then you're being overprotective. Love will guide you to be protective when you need to be, and then let go when you need to, because the biggest thing from it, I've learned from my father, grandfather, great-grandfather, because I've been blessed enough to know several grandfathers and great-grandparents in my life. But the one thing I noticed is that you have to, the big part of fatherhood is you're not raising a clone of yourself. You're raising an adult. You're raising a new human being. You're raising somebody with a personality that is different from yours. So you nurture it, but you cannot control it. And it's not for your control. You can't control it. And I feel like when people say fatherhood or parenthood in general is hard, they're trying to control instead of trying to grow. So to me, those are the biggest things that stand out.
Wow, that's something. So David, I want to ask you about, describe your father.
Wow. I think we'll have to start with saying that it's a lot of people joke because they say that you know, being David Mack IV, or we look alike or act alike, things of that nature. But what it really is about to me is about someone that has instilled character. I've been in situations where I've needed something, or I've been in situations where maybe I didn't have everything, all the resources that I needed to succeed. And my father was always there for me. So for me, as a son, it means a lot to be able to to talk about his character, and being accountable, being responsible, and really just uh, also being able to show that dynamic of strength and also vulnerability. You know, just being able to talk, being open, and you know, and you can see that through his career path. You know, the same way people view him, whether it's the radio show or whether it's you know, the political environment, it's the same thing at home. You know, if you have a problem or need something, he's there for you. He's always upstanding, always of high character, and always approachable. So I mean, that really is how I explain, you know, my father, my daddy.
Wow, wow. And Daniel, the same. I'm gonna ask you. Well, how would you describe your father?
I would. The only word I can think of is just everything. Because at any given moment, he's been everything we needed and more. So he just wasn't the one you can go to for, oh, well, I have this type of problem. He's like, no, you just go to him and talk to him about emotions as well too. You don't have to split that. It's so really everything. He's helped me out with whether it be financial issues, relationship issues, career choice issues, just personality, just being a man, being a black man in America. All these different things, whether it's something serious, and political, or something that's just fun and nonsense. He's been there all in between for each part. So I would just say the word everything, because I just have a father like that, and that's the type of father I strive to be.
I gotta write that down, man. I tell you. So David, when you hear all of this about you, what do you think? What runs through your mind? Because as I asked the question earlier with David Moody, what are some of the lessons that you want your children to take away from you?
Well, I think one of the things about being a dad or a parent generally is that you I liken it like baking a cake. And I can't bake, but it's like baking a cake. And what I mean by that is when you bake a cake, you put the ingredients in it have to be correct, and that you put it in the oven. Once it comes out of the oven, you can't put in any more milk or eggs or anything else. It's done. And that's basically what you do. You basically do the best you can up until the time of 17, 18, where they usually either go off to college or do something. But at that point, the number one thing you want them to be able to do is to make great decisions, to have a set of values where they can make great decisions. Will they be perfect? No. I tell folks all the time, I'm so glad they didn't have 6 fucking cell phone cameras when I was in college. You know, it's not going to be perfect. But the thing that is so key is that you have a set of values. And I think one of the key things also with young folks is that when they go off, they have somebody they don't want to disappoint. You know, and I've watched your daughter Catherine grow, and it's the same type thing where, you know, she operates in such a way with certain values and whatever. With her grandparents, both of her grandparents, a set of values that they can make good decisions. That's what you want to happen. And I know when I went off, I didn't want to disappoint my dad or my mom.
Yeah, I know the truth. When I went to DC, I was like, Lord, I can't come back. That first semester was rough. And I said, I can't go home. Let me go to summer school and straighten this out. You know, that first semester in DC, I'm telling you. Like you say, Dave, good thing they didn't have cameras and cell phones. That's all I can say. So let's talk about this, Dave. Mr. Mack is still living, 92 years old. What's the biggest lesson or the greatest lesson that you learned from him?
I think one of the, I think a lot of folks, with the television shows that are on, you have fathers giving these long speeches and what have you. And I think basically the relationship, watching how they act. I watched how he treated my mother with respect. I watched how he conducted himself. And you want to, you want to copy that. That's something you want to pattern yourself after. You're gonna have different personalities. We all do have different personalities, but I always say a certain set of values that you want to have. And my dad, my grandfather, I was blessed enough to know my great grandfather. My great grandfather passed away when I was about 14. I knew him. So just watching men where they knew how to treat women with respect, they knew how to conduct themselves and to be kind and generous.
That's so important, as you're thinking about, like you said, the lessons that you want to teach them. You want to show your children that, hey, listen, you can make mistakes. Number one, you're gonna do it. We all did it, and it's nothing too much like, well, I'm going this place or that place. I said, I already did that, done that. Where you going for real? Because those type of things, you're looking at your, and I'm pretty sure with your sons, well, Dad, I'm going to so and so, the girlfriend house, whatever. And you can say, okay, son, as long as I know where you are, then they go somewhere else. Same thing with Kat. But as I'm sitting here listening to you all and all the things that you said about your dad, was there any time that you could ever say, I wish Dad were here with me? Because see, your father was a politician way back. I remember that. But was there any other time that you can think of, or that you said, I want Dad to be here? Because he's always been there.
He's talking. Is that for me?
Yeah, for you. For either of you. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. I would say no, because from seeing him, watching him as a young child, and once again, it's not a discussion he had explicitly saying, "Hey, I have to do this for the people. I can't be here for something else." When you watch him and you're seeing how people come up, and this is something that happened, whether it be my father, grandfather, great grandfather, going in the grocery store, and people just walk up and say, hey, Mr. Mack, just want to thank you for looking out and helping me out with that situation. Or, hey, Mr. Mack, you were the best teacher we ever had. Or, Mr. Mack, you helped us out with that job. You helped my son with job. You're seeing this constantly, and even as a young child, you realize it's something bigger than you. So if he's your father, who's always been there for you, is going out and helping others, then at some point you have to become strong enough to help others yourself too.
That's right.
So if there was ever a time where I just like, man, I need to speak to Daddy, or what would he do? He laid such a strong foundation that if I couldn't reach him in that moment, I had enough. I could feel his presence, and that's what it's supposed to do. One of the lines from Black Panther, the movie, that movie more than a superhero movie, is when the Black Panther, in his character, his father died in another movie, but he went to visit him and his ancestors, and Black Panther's father said to him, the whole job of a father is to prepare him up to a point where he doesn't even need him. You'll always have love for him and want for him, but you'll never need him. That's a point where you know that you've done your job. So I feel like that was happening, and once again, it was very organic, nothing planned. But when you see him in action, you know that he's doing for others, then there's no time for me to fall back and feel bad for myself. I feel like, well, it's time for me to step up and do the same thing. So that's how I always look at it. So I always felt like he was there with me.
Well, and for you, David, the fourth?
Yes, I just simply want to say that it not to sound too general, but for me, Dad has always been there, and it goes back to the way that he really raised us. One of the things or I would say the balance that he has that I've seen is very difficult to do is that he supports you, but he also gives you the independence to make your own mistakes, right? So he's not the, like, so I'll give you an example. You know, going away to school, there were a lot of my classmates who were, you know, always on the phone every day with their parents. Everything that might have gone wrong, they were always calling. You know, needing this from dad, needing this from you know, granddad, whatever the case may be. And that's a blessing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but one of the things that, you know, that daddy has always taught us is that balance between knowing he's there, but still being independent. You know, he's like, if you need anything, let me know. But then at the same time, you know that he's instilled the things within us to be able to move forward. So he's always there. He's always there. Maybe, you know, physically there in the flesh. No, you know, I haven't lived at home since I was I moved out when I was 18 and went off to school, and then I, you know, lived away from home there. But whenever I come back, it's always right where we started, you know. And I think that's a credit to the way, you know, he raised us, whether it's through school, through sports, relationships, whatever it may seem, or whatever it may be, rather. He always had that balance of, you know, like I said before, I support you. If you mess up, you know, just let me know. But you're a man, you have to be accountable, and you can you have to also be independent. So that mix, that balance rather is very important.
Wow. Okay. So we froze David. David, you just froze up. And so can you speak again?
Oh, yes. Hello? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you just froze. Yeah, you just froze right at the end of your last last three words.
No, what I was just simply saying was that it's a delicate balance, and I don't know how it's done. Maybe it's character, but my dad has always put us in a position to know that he's there for you know, to support us if something goes wrong. But at the same time, he gives us a sense of independence, where we can go and do things on our own. You know, it's a difference between someone being a support and a parent being a crutch. And that's one of the things that he's taught us.
Wow.
David
the third, I tell you what, to hear your sons talk about you like this, my big brother, I'm trying to hold back the tears. I thought it was bad on the first segment, but this segment, to have men to be able to talk about what their father is like to them and what he has taught you. So David, I want to ask you first, before I ask you, Tiana, let's show the pictures, because I don't think the sons have seen these pictures in a while. All right. Look at that. Wow.
My God.
And there you go. There goes Brandon. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Beautiful pictures. And for my sister Cheryl, just give her my love. Tell her I said, wow, I love her so much. And continue to pray for you and the family. So David, I want to ask you, what would you tell young people now? And we only got about a couple of minutes, but I just want to ask you, what would you tell young fathers today?
Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. I mean, you know, I'm the type of person that, and my dad is like this. His dad was like this. You know, and I see a lot of fathers are like this. They enjoy being a dad. You know, because the simplest things when you're a dad is special to children. You know, a lot of times during Christmas time, you get all these toys and stuff and you get in debt. And then at the end of the day, you put the child's real small, you put them in the box and push them around and make a noise. They enjoy that, and
That's
you
right.
enjoy that. You enjoy the look on their face. One of the toughest things about me, the toughest things right now with the pandemic and going out wearing a mask, is you're not able to smile at children. I love to be in the store and you see small children and they look at you and you're able to just give them a smile. So I would just say to dads out there, enjoy the journey. And if you have a daughters, as you know, Tammy, I knew your dad. He always treated me so well with, you're just a special person. And pardon me. Little girls look up to their dad so much. Enjoy that. Embrace it. And because again, before you know it, they're growing. But you'll always have those memories.
That's right. That's right. So, gentlemen, I'm going to ask you what I asked the other David and his family. What are the 3 words that describe each of you?
Let's see. So to start this off, so I get to describe my brother and my father?
You can. You can. We've got like a minute to do it.
Well, I'll just be quick. So my father, I would just say strong, funny, the best.
Oh, wow. Okay. David, the 4th?
Dependable, charismatic, and loving.
Wow. And David, the 3rd?
I think I'll shift it a little bit, but it'll have the same meaning. And I use this a lot. I tell folks, I am on 3 drugs: prayer, laughter, and gratitude.
Wow. Prayer, laughter, and gratitude. And that's the truth about the laughter, because you send me those jokes. And I tell you what, I'm sitting, I come in the living room, I'm sitting, so big brother done sent me something else. There I go. I'm going to laugh from now until. So listen, I appreciate you all, my nephews, my big brother. I thank you so much for being on the show. I love you all. And I'm just so grateful that you all are with me today. And I look forward to all that you're doing. You know, I keep up with you, and Daniel, I'm coming down there to be with you one day. Hopefully to help you, to just co-host with you. And I look forward to David, when you come back, David the 4th, you come back. I look forward to seeing you so we all can get together again. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Love you, big brother. Love you all.
Take care. Love you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Bye-bye. All right. Well, I tell you what, I've had a great time. I've enjoyed this first series, this first part of the power of a father. And I mean a father's love as well. So you enjoyed that. I want to thank again, David Moody, and Carla and Karia and Charles. I just want to thank you all for being on the show. David, my big brother, I want to thank you. Daniel and David the 4th, and Brandon, love you out there overseas. So listen, the show is going to continue. I mean, every Thursday, you all have to tune in. And I love it that you all, and I want to thank my viewers for always tuning in to Tammy. I want to thank Tiana, assistant producer, girl, you doing it. And I want to thank Alicia, producer as well. You can subscribe to the Tammy TV show on YouTube. When I tell you, please be a blessing to somebody today, always. And that's not just today, that's every day. Have a safe and wonderful week. Remember, wear your mask, social distance, and of course, wash your hands. Thank you again for tuning in, and look forward to seeing you next time on The Tammy Show.